Hey guys, welcome to Brown Boy Aesthetics. Today we're going to talk about bro diets, the bro bodybuilding diet that everyone follows: chicken, brown rice, broccoli, sometimes no carbs, sometimes no salt, sometimes no sodium, and what is it all about? First of all, bro diets are a concept that everyone has tried at some point in their athletic career. So if you are a bodybuilder, you've competed in bodybuilding, it's probably your first diet. It could be a diet you're still following. It's been a diet that you've been following since the last 5 or 10 years. I'm going to talk about why you should or should not do it, and why it's a very common phenomenon nowadays.
Yeah, I'm so fly, look to my left, I see a spaceship.
For most of the people out there who are pursuing bodybuilding, they're probably still doing bro diets. You'll see a lot of clickbait articles about certain diets that you need to follow to do bodybuilding or to get a shredded jacked physique or get a competitive bodybuilding physique. These diets usually include foods like chicken breast, maybe sometimes brown rice, sometimes no carbs, no white rice, no bread, no candy, no sugar. Sugar is really shunned upon. No fruits a lot of the times. Maybe some nuts, maybe some nut butter. Then you have things like a lot of green vegetables, white fish, which means like tilapia. What do you get in India instead of tilapia? Basa, tilapia, no fatty meats, very limited eggs, more egg whites. And I've done this diet as well. I think 90% of our diets or 80% of our diets are still bro foods, but there's no reason to shun out certain foods. Now, if you have not already seen the other videos, I'm going to bring this up again. The only thing that matters when you're dieting is energy balance, which means calories in versus calories out. If you're trying to gain weight, you need to eat more calories than what your body demands. If you're trying to lose weight, you need to eat less calories than what your body demands. That's the most important thing that comes to mind when you talk about losing or gaining weight. The second thing that's really important is your macronutrient ratios. That means how much protein, carbs and fats you consume in order to get those calories. Now, out of these three macronutrients, the most important one is always going to be protein, especially from a bodybuilding perspective. Does it matter if you eat less or more protein? Not as much if you're talking about weight loss or weight gain. And if you're talking about an athlete or a bodybuilder, I'd probably go up higher on the side of protein versus lower. Definitely never eating lower protein. But what happens with these bro diets is there is no macro counting. There's no calorie counting most of the times. So they're just eating certain foods and certain food types, and they continue eating those food types towards their bulking periods as well, towards their cutting periods as well. So even pre-contest they'll be eating the same foods, which is great because I'm a very big advocate of consistency. That means when you do things consistently, you're probably going to get results. So with bro diets or the so-called bro diets, I don't have a problem, and I actually think that most athletes follow these bro diets up to a certain level. That means the bro foods that are there, which is chicken breast, broccoli, egg whites, are foods that we incorporate in our diets regularly. And I think they're very important. One, because they're a good source of protein, and two, because they are even micronutrient friendly. They are generally healthy food sources. Where these diets go wrong is they restrict you. And once any diet restricts you, there's a big possibility of things going off. So if you get a cheat meal, which might happen in a bro diet once in 2 weeks, you tend to feel like you want a lot more. It's psychologically not the best diet to follow. You're eating the same foods repeatedly, which means there's a very high chance that you're going to lack in certain vitamins and minerals. You're not going to get in all micronutrients that your body requires, and you might develop an intolerance towards certain foods. With me, for example, I was eating a lot of eggs when I followed a bro diet, and after one point I got very intolerant to eggs. So every time I ate eggs, my stomach would not digest it very well. And one thing you need to always remember is digestion is very important in bodybuilding. If you don't digest your food well, you're not going to absorb your food well. If you don't absorb your protein, forget about making gains or keeping your muscle mass. If I were to do a bro diet, how would I do it? To be honest, almost every bodybuilder does a little bit of bro dieting, and I feel somehow bro dieting, such a weird term. Bro dieting is something that's very, very common, and you need a certain aspect of it. So if I'm doing a bro diet, I would probably keep 80% of the bro foods in, and I would keep 20% leverage or 10% leverage to other foods as well. And if I'm doing a bro diet, one thing I would keep in mind is not to stick to the same foods, not to stick to the same food choices. So if there is chicken, I would mix it up with beef, sometimes with fish, sometimes with eggs. I would not restrict myself on the types of fats. not restrict myself on egg whites only. I would probably learn more about nutrition profile, and I would give a little leverage to a little bit of everything. So if I want to have a slice of pizza and I'm craving it, I will plan it out in my macros. I will remove some macros from certain meals, and I will have that meal. That ensures that you still stick on track and you still adhere to it. And if you ever feel like getting a cheat meal in or something, you still stick to your plan if you know what your macros are. The whole point of macros, or some would call it flexible dieting. I'm not calling it flexible dieting because people take leverage to the term flexible dieting and start eating foods which I do not deem healthy long term. Like eating a pizza every day and just keeping all your meals from those so-called flexible foods are not something I would suggest. But definitely your body does not know the difference between a Pop-Tart and rice. You know, you really can't make out the difference. I mean, overall sugar intake, overall long term, it might make a difference. Short term, if you're an athlete, if you're a bodybuilder, if you are actually processing or using those carbs up, it won't make a difference. So yes, for bro diets, but learn more about macronutrients and still always track your calories. If you decide to go ahead with the bro diet regardless, make sure your calories are tracked so that you know exactly how you're moving towards your goal. So you have more precision when you're going to compete, or more precision when you're going to gain weight. So that gives you accuracy and consistency in exactly what you're doing, along with leverage towards the dirtier foods. So if you do not want to eat those dirty foods, still guys, the point is count your macros. So coming to the point, do these diets actually work? Yes, they do. But is there a better way of doing it? Yes, there is. You always want to keep in mind that even if you're doing a bro diet, the only one thing that I'm trying to push forward and advocate is counting your macros. So there is more consistency just than eating foods. You know, if you're gaining weight, you want to add a certain amount of carbohydrates, or if you're losing weight, reduce a certain amount of carbohydrates or fats or whatever works really well for your body. So again, I'm not against a bro diet. I think it's fine. I do believe that it can get quite restrictive after a point, especially when you're trying to restrict sodium in certain foods and you tell people that you cannot have something, you're restricting them from that. At the end of the day, the one thing that I say all the time is it doesn't matter. Your food choices don't matter as much as your entire energy levels do. So it's again calories in versus calories out. It's more about a good diet and not about good foods and bad foods. It's more about good diets and bad diets. So if you haven't seen that video already, there's a link to that video, check it out. We've posted that earlier. And that's what the bro diet is all about. So if you guys are following it and you feel great on it, fair enough. If you feel that psychologically scarring you and you just crave a lot of dirty meals or cheat meals, long term there might be some side effects of these diets, and I would suggest to learn more about nutrition, more about energy balance, more about macronutrients, micronutrients, or study about the nutrition pyramid. Watch videos by Eric Helms, Alan Algon, and all these guys. You'll probably learn a lot more. That's all for this video, guys. We are going to bust some more myths. We're going to talk about more diets, more types of diets in the next videos.